Hey, it's Mark from lotmoreguitar.com, and in this lesson we're going to take a look at minor pentatonic pattern number 5. So I'm going to be in A minor here. I've got an A on the 5th fret of the 6th string in standard tuning. So I'm going to start on the 3rd fret. Pattern 5 starts below the root on the 3rd fret. We could also play up the octave. I'm playing it down the octave. So the full pattern. And we have the root notes, in this case A on the 5th fret of the 1st string, the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and the 5th fret of the 6th string. So because of that shift, this pattern's a little less finger friendly than the other ones. But there's some cool stuff you can do, and it makes a nice connection into pattern 1. So on the top 2 strings we have the symmetrical pattern of 3-5, 3-5 fretwise. Okay, so that's a good time to use the finger roll lick. That's one thing to do from the other lessons. We've got picking the 3rd fret of the 1st string, picking the 5th fret, pulling off, and I'm doing a finger roll between the 2nd string and the 1st string on the 5th fret. You can also bar the top 2 strings, slide them up and down for a nice R&B style lick. You can bar the top 2 strings on the 3rd fret and hammer only the 2nd string. That's a little bit trickier because you're trying not to mute that note. Slightly softer sound, a la Jimi Hendrix. He might use that over a C chord as well. But it's a nice sound on the top 2 strings. Okay, on the 3rd and 4th strings we have the 2nd fret to the 5th and 2nd fret to the 5th. You can hear Layla in there. That's one of the most famous licks in pattern 5. I know he's in D minor, but I use my pinky a lot for the rolling pattern in this pattern, in pattern 5. These 2 strings also make a nice connection to the A major pentatonic scale. A little bit out of the scope of our lesson, but whenever you have the A blues, you can combine major and minor. We talked about that a little bit in the pattern 3 lesson. So A major, you have the 4th fret here on the 4th string and the 4th fret of the 3rd. And to go to minor, 1 fret up to the 5th fret. You can always bend to those notes. Or just pick them. Pick both of them. Nice little combination there. On the bottom 2 strings, we have the same symmetrical pattern as the top 2. Another good candidate for the finger roll lick. So if I did the finger roll lick all the way from the A on the 3rd string, the tricky thing is you have to shift here to the 3rd position. So my first finger is at the 3rd fret on the 5th string. So without talking, we have the roll going all the way down. Okay, the bottom 2 strings in this position is also a nice way to connect to pattern 1. It's probably the most common, definitely not the only way you can connect, but if I go to the 3rd fret of the 6th string to the 5th fret, and then the same thing on the 5th string, and then slide my 3rd finger from the 5th string to the 7th, okay, I got a nice connection into pattern 1. And then for most of us, then we're really in familiar territory. Okay, you can also slide back. So much like pattern 4 and 3, that works as a nice kind of connection between those 2. Instead of going down to the 8th fret, you can just go back to that 3rd fret with that slide. But you can connect anywhere. So try out some of those moves. Of course, there are plenty more, and try and come up with some of your own as well. And eventually, as you progress, you'll start to see the whole fingerboard as one key, and you don't have to think so much in patterns or pattern numbers for that matter. So you'll see the whole board in A minor. These shapes are all transposable as long as there's no open string. So if I wanted to play in B minor, I just move to a B note. Again, I'm in standard tuning. So pattern 5 would start 2 frets behind the root, meaning this way towards the headstock. So I would start that on the 5th fret. Same finger position though, same pattern. So that would be B minor, pattern 5. Back to A minor. Okay, so get familiar with some of those moves, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Thanks. Bye.